Who benefits more from marriage or relationships more, men or women? Based off of my own personal observation, if you ask the average woman today, she'll tell you unequivocally men benefit from marriage more. However, if you ask your average everyday man, he's going to tell you women benefit more. So who's right? Do men benefit more from relationships, or do women benefit more? I had a conversation with a young lady recently, and without hesitation, she said, no doubt about it, men benefit more from relationships and marriage. In her opinion, men receive much more benefits, such as they have someone to make their house a home, they have someone to take care of their children, and they have an in-home free therapist, somebody that they can share all their problems with. Now, I believe I speak for all men when I say that we don't need none of that. In fact, those benefits are more beneficial for women. However, I proceeded to ask her to imagine what would happen if we removed all of the systems that have been put in place and enforced by men. What would happen if she's walking down the street one day and a man attacks her and tries to take advantage of her? And that is when the light bulb came on. She agreed that there would be nothing she could do to stop a grown man from taking advantage of her. Therefore, we can conclude that women unequivocally, absolutely need men, if for nothing else, security. However, since the government or the systems that have been in place and enforced by men have essentially replaced men, allowing women to say, okay, I don't need a man, therefore I am independent. However, that does not mean that women need men more than men need women. The only thing a man needs a woman for is to, drumroll please, reproduce. And the only way to reproduce is to have sex. Now, the argument that you would get from a man is that I don't need to reproduce. But that is incorrect. The first command that God gave Adam was to what? Be fruitful and multiply. God did not suggest or recommend fruitfulness and multiplication. It was a command. And that command was given to who? Adam. Therefore, that is a need. That is why God said it is not good for man to be alone. He cannot fulfill his obligations, his duty, which is to multiply and subdue the earth. That is why men have such a stronger urge for sex. But then you have men that say, I don't need a woman to fulfill that urge. He has now turned to self-pleasure, and he still needs a woman through his either imagination or pornography. Therefore, through these evaluations, I can deduce that men need women just as much as women need men. The need is 1-to-1. Men need sex, women need security. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.